Hey guys, welcome. So, what's that rule of thirds all about? Anybody know? We're going to look into that today. Big disclaimer, those who know all about it, you can follow along or you can wait for the next vid or whatever. Beginners of that, please do stick around, subscribe, like, and hit the dingly bell button as well. Let's dive straight into it. Okay, so before we go any further, let's look how we find the rule of thirds grid, okay, on our camera. All right, so this is a Canon 90D, and the first thing you need to do is switch it on. Okay, make sure it's switched on. Now, there's a nifty trick that this 90D does. Okay, if I go into the menu where it actually is, and it's near where the wrench is, or if you're in UK, that is the spanner. Okay, it says viewfinder display down here. Look, hang on. Okay, now that's because I'm looking through the viewfinder. Now, what this thing can do, you can get grid display. It says hide here. Actually through the viewfinder on the 90D. I don't know how many other cameras do that. You'll have to look at your own menu system and maybe look at the manual or go online and find a description on how you can do that. But the rule of thirds grid that you can bring up in live view is found like this. So I need to put it on live view. Okay, now it's looking at the wall. All right, and then I go back into my menu, and then you can see that shooting info display has changed from viewfinder. So if I go in there now, it says grid display off, and I turn that on, and you get you get 3 to choose from. So that's the 3x3, so it gives you 9 boxes. That's the one you need. And if I go back into menu and come off, and there you can see it. Look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes. This is the grid that the rule of thirds grid that I'm going to be explaining in today's video. So, rule of thirds then. I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I'm not going to get really complicated with it. All right, so here we go. So, rule of thirds, we're going to need a grid up on the screen. There we go. So now we've got a grid. We've got 2 horizontal bars, 2 vertical bars. All right, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boxes, right? 9 boxes. Okay, so we're going to keep it simple. Let's go landscape first. Got your 2 horizontal bars. Let's say you've got a nice beach scene with the sun dropping, it's beautiful, and it's a nice dramatic sky as well as a few clouds in it, orange, pinks, all the blah, 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 right? 2 ways of setting this up to make this look really cool. So my favorite to start with is what I would do, that bottom horizontal bar, I would line that up with the horizon, and that'd give me such a dramatic sky because that's the kind of thing I like, right? Or you can put the top horizontal bar down onto the where the horizon is, and that would give you more foreground, more beach, more of what the scene is. You're setting the scene. What kind of beach is it? Is it a load of rocks? That kind of thing, all right? So that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is where each one of these crosses, so the vertical lines cross the horizontal lines, is a place where you would want to put or put near the subject near, okay? So for example, let's say now I'm in full screen, all right? Really, really close. If you've seen a lot of interviews, it may look a little something like this, slightly off to one side. So I've got a big space on one side. For something like YouTube or something like that, you can put graphics and things down there. It just looks better. The brain perceives it as better, okay? Or it could be over the other side. Or it could be at the top or wherever, like my face could be on one of them crosses. That's the rough gist of rule of thirds. And you're thinking, what does this have to do with wildlife and nature photography? Plenty. Okay, so let's say you got a bird sitting on a branch, and you go boom, right in full frame, right? And you're thinking, how do I get that nice blurry look that I saw the other day? How am I going to achieve that? Well, let's say it's on a nice single perch, there's not a cluttered background, everything's tickety-boo and perfect. What you can do, for me, let's say the bird is facing inwards, or it doesn't matter which way it's facing, to be honest with you. Let's just say what I would do if the bird is facing to my left as I'm looking at it. Okay, so it's going that way. What I would do, I'd put as I'm looking through the viewfinder, the top right cross as I'm looking through the viewfinder. Okay, I would put that on the bird. Okay, bearing in mind I've got the aperture wide open, decent shutter speed, and I'm going to get a nice bird with a really milky, blurry background. This way, it will isolate the bird, for example. I'm just using that as an example. Okay, a good tip here is, personally, I like the birds or the animals or even people facing in. I just do. It looks better, unless they're following something. You got two, one's following the other kind of thing. But I kind of like them looking as if they're about to go somewhere or do something. In shot, not out of frame. Okay, that's my personal preference, and everybody's got those. Another disclaimer, okay, photography is art, right? So therefore, if you like the way something looks, that is your personal preference. I'm sure Picasso got ridiculed for the way he painted. I personally, I'm a fan. Other people, they don't like it so much, yeah? So art is slightly subjective. The rules we're talking about now, the rules of third, are rules of thumb, okay? They are more sort of guidelines than massive rules that you have to stick to. Why? Because photography is an art. Okay, so we've talked about how the crosses line up. Let's look at some pictures with a little bit of music that I've taken that explain that concept. Right then, guys, so there you have it, okay? That's a brief explanation on the rule of thirds and how it works, all right? It's not that difficult. In one of my last videos, I said there's a big secret about this photography business. I suggest you go and watch that, and it tells you the big secret on what you should go and do, all right? To be able to get good with a rule of thirds, all right? Other than that, guys, please, thanks for watching. Please do hit the like button, subscribe, dingly bell, and all of that. And I'll see you all for a new video very soon. Bye-bye.